sorry that you'll have to wait. There's a huge traffic jam, very huge. I happened to reach just in time. I thought I was going to be late, but I got in through the race course because I have a badge. That is our father doesn't have a badge, so he had to come right round. I think we went back to Haji and took a roundabout. So otherwise, we would have been in time. Now, this talk is about substance abuse, as you know. It's a huge problem, not only in colleges, but even in schools. We have a problem you must have read in Bangalore. The biggest problem was in Punjab, where I know I worked there for 3.5 years. And Punjab, the young people who are supposed to be our future, might, not only in the fields, farmers, but soldiers, they've all been affected. It's a huge problem, and it will definitely sap the youth of the country, their energies, their ability to think, their ability to live, what more. So Father Joe Pereira is a Catholic priest, but he has devoted his entire life to fight substance abuse. He runs an organization called Kripa Foundation, which works all over India. All over India. In the northeast, he has not a problem, because the stuff comes from across the border from Burma. So, Father addressed our students last year, and everybody was so impressed. Many of them gave up after they heard it. So we hope that anyone of you who is thinking of doing it or even trying it, please, Father will explain to you what is what. We got the Padma Shri. He has been awarded the Padma Shri by the Government of India for his work in this very field of fighting the drug abuse. So I leave the floor to Father Joe Pereira, who is an old friend of mine, very old friend, and whom we admire very much. Thank you.
Thank you to you, and I'm so happy to be with you, because the work that we are doing is today nationwide. Kripa, by God's grace and the inspiration of Mother Teresa, she pushed me into this work. She was looking after the poor, the poorest of the poor, and one day she showed me a man who was dying. He was picked up from the streets, and she said, you know, this man was a former Air Force pilot, and alcohol and drugs had destroyed his life. So can you imagine, we don't realize today the youth are all caught up in this hep thing. You know, if you're not using, you're a nerd. If you're not with us, you're something that, you know, you're an odd person. So all this kind of feeling has pushed a whole lot of really youngsters into experimenting with drugs. There are two types of users. One is what they call, oh, we are only party drinkers, party social workers, recreational use. And therefore, how many of you all saw the Mirror Now debate about Maneka Gandhi saying that there should be, it's a medical use for cannabis, and therefore that will bring down the misuse and abuse. How many of you saw our program on the Mirror Now? Faith D'Souza's. Yeah, okay. Now that's a fallout of this big problem. So let's start from the beginning. I have with me, and I want you to please keep confidentiality, because when we get into this field and we get well, the power of our getting well rests in our anonymity. Why? Because we don't like to make a show of our recovery, oh, I have given up drugs, When Sanjay Dutt did that, there was a counter effect. When all film stars, except, certain people have maintained that. Like Remo gave me the permission to say to the youngsters that he was deceived for 40 years, thinking that alcohol and drugs would give his creativity. He says it's all rubbish. I have checked my recordings when I was drunk, and I have checked my recordings when I was clean. And the clean recordings are far superior than the so-called drug performances. So all these things, I had here with me two people who have gone through, and I don't say just gone through, but going through. Because going through this experience is really a struggle. And that is why it's better not to get into this, rather than to start experimenting and then getting into a mess. My first slide. Oh, sorry. You would like to, there's a request that you would like to play the NSS song before we begin. Are you going to sing it, or you want to play it on that? Okay. NSS song. We're all going to sing it together. chairs here. Okay, yeah, let us sit down.
Are you all comfortable with English? Otherwise, Father can speak in Hindi. Marathi is his mother tongue, so he can speak in Marathi also. No problem.
One phrase I heard in the song is to raise our horizons, right? So what's the opposite of that? In Marathi there is a saying, Kupa Manduk. You know what's a Kupa Manduk? A frog in the well. And many of us are like that with regard to drug addiction. They're like frogs in the well. We don't know anything about the nature of drug abuse. And today I want you all to get an enlightened. I've come here with a selfish purpose. I don't know whether Mr. Junior Rivero knows this, but I have a little selfish purpose in doing this program. After Kripa becoming a national and an international organization, I realized that the only way to spread this is the youth power. And so I'm going to use you all in a very special way. And I expect a lot of you volunteers, NSS volunteers, to really chip in, because the harvest is great, but the laborers are few, said the founder of my religion, Jesus. You know, and we need more laborers into this field. Next. So this is a program.
What is the before we such a very sensitive subject needs lot of awareness, and we are fortunate to have two very eminent persons, ex-commissioner Julio Romero and Father Pereira. We all couldn't have better, and we'd like to just show our respect, sir, by felicitating all the speakers before you start the presentation, so that we can show our gratitude to you for coming here, for enlightening the students, for guiding them, to show them where they can go wrong. So when you're stopped at the right time, life begins. So thank you so much. We'd just like to felicitate you. The most brave commissioner, and to read his so we're so honored, sir, that you have come to our project. Thank you so much. Your lecture is so enlightening that all our students never touch, love life and hate drugs. You will enjoy life much more than anything.
Thank you. So let's begin. This is really a program that I'm gifted with by you, Julio Rivero, Mr. Chairperson. You know, the tremendous milestones that Mr. Rivero has achieved in life is amazing, but that's because he's both a man of faith and a man of deep courage and love. And so I really feel very honored that this is the chairperson of this Public Concern for Governance Trust, and next, this Youth for Governance, right? Yes. This is where I like this, that it's a movement initiated to build character, bring about responsibility and build confidence in all of you young people, and work with them towards participating in the governance issues. We aim to empower these young citizens to take charge and contribute towards a better society by sensitizing them to issues related to ethics and governance. The biggest ethical issue after drug abuse is children, young people have given up all sense of morality. Addiction has affected the moral behavior, character of our young people. And today, so many things are happening which are because we have lost a sense of the value of life. And so, next. Yeah, okay. Earlier when I started this work, people who were afflicted were between the age of 45 and 55. But now there are youngsters of 14 to 24. Christopher, what's your age? 17. Okay. So that's the age group. Next. So you want to know very briefly, where does it begin? You know, in Marathi there's a saying, "Mulache pai parnya dista." You know, you can trace where the child is going to walk by seeing his feet. So the first component is where you come from, genetic component. Most of these drug addicts, 9 out of 10, have had parents, grandparents, their siblings in some way inclined to be addicted to alcohol or something else, you know. And so there is a genetic predisposition, but the big one is behavior. We'll go into that later on. And the environment, fathers, rave parties, all that contribute to make the person vulnerable and fall victims. Next. So, as I said, there is a genetic predisposition. Seldom has been an alcoholic or a drug addict come from homes which have not had alcoholics or addictive behaviors earlier. Today I have been in a very, very wealthy family, son of a very wealthy family. And when I asked him, I said, you know, you're not the first one. He said, no, there's nobody in my family. Then we sat with his father and we discovered that his uncle and his grand-uncle were bad alcoholics, but in denial. Next. So, this is where we come from. Most of our addicted young people, they come from troubled homes. It's a very big issue. See, when I'm talking this, and I'm explaining this to you, please also introspect. You know what I mean? Look into your own lives and say, hey, what does this man say? Is it true about my family? Is my family a troubled family? Am I a single parent person? I mean, have I come from a family where dad never bothered about me, he only gave mommy money? What is the quality of loving between my father and mother? Single parents or absent fathers? Like, you know, today there are so many parents who have to go out of the house to earn money. And then also, in my first program in Miller now, there was a discussion about what are the positive factors. And when I said that, you know, we have to take responsibility as parents, some parents got very angry. And they said, you know, do you realize that both of us have to go and work? And then what happened? What happens is that we keep domestics, ayabais. And sometimes if you have been brought up by some ayabais, to keep you quiet, they have put some goli in your mouth. And the child has slept and did not realize that later on that created an urge for that child to become an addict. So in that sense, we have, because of our certain sociological problems, we could have been victims of them. Next. So today, parents are always wanting to give their child whatever they demand. Just take it and get lost. Don't give it. You know, that's the way the parents deal with children. That you just take this money and get out. Don't trouble me. But very often, this causes what is known as king baby syndrome. Freud. How many of you have heard of Freud? Okay. Now Freud talked about incomplete growth of a personality. You know, people grow physically, mentally, psychologically, and all that, but emotionally they are stunted. So what he calls that an overstay of an infantile psyche. You notice a typical addict cannot take a no.
I want what I want, and I want it right now. It's called King Baby syndrome. So these are the early signs of, or you can see that such a personality will immediately fall victim to addiction. Next. And there are sometimes people who are, today we are keeping up with the jokes. Ma, the boy with whom I am friendly, the girl with whom I am friendly, she has got an iPhone 7. I must also have an iPhone 7. I mean, what is that? Yeah, iPhone 7, yeah, okay. Then fast cars, you heard of a famous son of a very rich family. They patched up that car and then they covered the whole story because money covers today everything. Everyone knows this so much. And the person behind that car who destroyed that car is a full-blown addict and still living in denial. Then also there is this easy availability to people of the opposite sex. And I include this because a person who is addicted will definitely also have many other side addictions. Besides having, let's say, nicotine, charas ganja, the weed, alcohol, MDMA and all those kind of things. Besides that, they will also want sex. And that is a big field of addiction. And that is why we are also having SLA. What is SLA? Sex and Love Addict Anonymous. Very often, sometimes you see people quick changing their friends and using one another. It's all this Bollywood love. That's a big area of addiction, where you are only going in for erotic love. You don't realize erotic love has to die, or the people have to die. Romeo and Juliet had to die. Dorothy and Lady Diana had to die. If your love of erotic loving does not die, you will be heading for a terrible crisis in your life. So what is the right love? The correct love is agape. Jesus said, greater love than this no one had, that one lays down one's life for another one. Ideal example of this is Julio and Melba sitting here. Couples for decades of togetherness and love, going through a beautiful sense of self-giving. That is love. Not the Bollywood type of, so that is also included in an addictive behavior, because if the person is disappointed with a relationship, you jump into drugs. You are born for love, which is I-thou relationship. But if that I-thou relationship is not available, I will choose an I-it relationship. It can be a substance of my use, alcohol or drugs. It can be sex, gambling, misuse of money, internet, pornography in a very big way. So all these behaviors are a substitute for love, I-thou relationship. Next. So the occasions where this starts taking place, the starting points, all of you know this. I go for a weekend program, and at the weekend program, even girls are said, come on, this is a pizza, it's only 4% alcohol. But if that girl's or some other sex addict or something like that, see, we don't realize this. And then if we just go for a great party, come back a full-blown addict. You don't realize that you're going to be a victim just by 1 or 2 week exposures. Next. So this is all that varieties of addictions. You can see that. Next. And I've also included the God addiction. I hope I don't make a faux pas here. We are sometimes living in soft emergencies. And in soft emergencies, sometimes fundamentalism of various kinds of God addictions start taking place. Where one type of belief puts burdens on the other types of belief. And that is called God addiction. My drug addicts have killed for the drug of their choice, and today they are killing because of the God of our choice. Keep that in your mind, because as young students, you must be very careful that there are some subtle ways in which this kind of religious fundamentalism is another form of addiction. That's only by passing. I would like to leave that for you to keep it in mind when you are doing NSS work, to distinguish the kinds of people that come for service. This is what I said earlier, it's an I-it relationship. Next. So, We are born for love. I love relationship. If that's not there, we have a I hate relationship. Next. Now, you can pass this by. This is in the context of stress. Very often when you ask a drug addict, and I think Chris may answer you that, in the continuum of life, one end of life is, I am so qualified, but there is nothing to challenge me, my talent. I get bored. Most of the college students say, and those lectures are so boring, and there's nothing to do. So many of these college students bunk lectures. They don't want to really get into serious work. They think that they are so talented that this is not stimulating enough. So that is boredom. Boredom leads to addiction. I want to break my boredom, I want to have something that will take me out. Okay, what is the other end of the continuum of life? Where you are not qualified sufficiently, but it's challenging you. There are more and more demands made on you. The studies are getting difficult. The stream of your choice was a wrong stream. So you feel nervous how to cope with this. That causes stress. So whether it is stress or whether it is boredom, alcohol is inviting you, drugs are inviting you, wrong friends are inviting you. Chalo yaar, spend time with me, you pass time. And then most of these addicts, as and I have another person from Delhi, Abhishek, he will also tell you how this kind of situations led them into, they made them easy prey to alcohol and drugs. Next. Now we are here to tell you, you have to be able to resist this challenge. If you want to really resist this challenge, you have to develop 3 traits. Now this was Henry Pereira, who made a study on people who just succumb to addiction and easily become victims. And those who fight addiction, like these 2 guys who I brought here, they have fought addiction and they are here to tell you how they struggle, and they still struggle, but yet they develop these traits. First, they accept it as challenge. They look at it as how I can control my various urges and what is coming from next. So what is challenge? When I see that I am inclined to go easily into alcohol and drugs, I look at it as a danger or as an opportunity. So if you are a real good student and concerned with humanity, as this individual is, then you will look at this whole problem as an opportunity. Please take interest. A parent of a drug addict who came to the family meeting, he said, I'm seeing your board every day, and I have to tell my wife, that's Kripa, that is for drug addicts. And I did not know for 12 years my son was a hardcore addict. This is the way. So you have to really look at this, not only just as a danger and it doesn't pertain to me, but no, it's an opportunity for me to take interest. Are we running away to safety or running away from fear? Because people have wrong attitude. They say, okay, don't touch it at all, yes, but doing it out of fear, then one day you'll get into it. Is the universe a friendly place or not? This is Einstein's statement. You come from a belief that no matter how much evil is going around us, we can turn this now and make this universe a better place. Next. The next thing is that control. We don't like to be controlled, and that is why we are always in a state of tension. Parents, children, and the equation there is very, very tough. And so also with among friends, many friends break relationships because they don't like to be controlled. And there is always to be an equation there. And in the serenity prayer of the addict, this is brought about beautifully, where he's asked to, he or she, to start to pray. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. But that has to be there first. And something that cannot be changed, let me be serene. Grant me the courage to change the things I can. Give me the courage to get on to change my life. And then let me always know, discern the difference. Next. And this is the most important thing I want from you all, that have a good vision. of a society that will be drug-free, as your principal said just now. And this has to be a full purpose, because you have to have a will to live. An addict wants to die. Do you know that? Who's an addict? He's fed up of life. 20% of addicts want to die. 2% actually commit suicide. Are you aware of this? So when you say, hey, this one was an addict, no, whatever, that guy, you don't realize that he's on the path to death. It's like that cricket. Loves to hit the light. Loves it, gets a high. But after 4 or 5 hits, falls down, drops. Hey, exactly the story of addiction. Chris and Abhishek will tell you how many of them losing bodies are dead. If not actually dead, they have lost their brains. A young guy, 5 years ago, saying to his parents, Father Joe does not know, weed is not a drug. Weed is not a drug. Today he is in the mental asylum. He has got cannabis related, cannabis causing psychosis. And mind you, his father was working with us. He rose up to be the director of the UN AIDS, and he comes back and he finds his son like this. You know, because people feel that it's okay, we can all do drugs, and it's not. So the whole commitment which I want from you all is, let's put into our lives a purpose to live. When Viktor Frankl went through the Holocaust, you know about it, when Hitler eliminated 6 million people, and this man was one of them. He came out of that experience, and he saw certain people surviving in spite of that. And then he wrote a book. He called it Man's Search for Meaning. What is meaning? Meaning is logos. So most of these youth who have gone into addiction have not had any purpose in life, or they lost purpose in life. Once you find meaning in your life, you can change your whole life. Who taught me this was Mother Teresa. Not doing big things, but doing small things in a meaningful way with love. And there's lots to do among your friends and people who are sitting, you know, they are really gullible. There are so many people among you who are walking into this blindfolded. Next. In universities and everywhere, you are being given all kinds of left brain studies. You are studying, thinking. But this does not work with an addict, because he's brilliant. What an addict needs is to really activate his right brain. And what is this right brain? All about spirituality. Because an addict basically is thirsting for love for God. And evil reverses that thirst and brings about what is known as implosion of all kinds of self-gratification. Now to get out of that, to reverse that, one has to learn a different way of acquiring knowledge and skills and wisdom in life. Next. So what is that? This is the man who gave up his being Shankaracharya of Puri. He gave it up and he went to the States, and he proved to the States, to the Western world, that there is a fourth state of consciousness. See, drug addicts and all are all longing to have a kind of an experience that is beyond, you know. But if you want to get that, really learn these methods. In India, we have got so many methods of meditation. Unfortunately, many of the religious places encourage drugs for religious experience, which is a sad thing. Next. But this man showed that you can, by meditation, yes, next, you can lower your heart rate, and you can bring about, hello, next, yeah, you can bring about what the Harvard medical expert said about relaxation response. You know why am I telling you this? Because many of us feel that we must chill out sometime, right? You all want to chill out. But there's a beautiful way of chilling out, and that is called not medicated drugs, but meditation. Okay, next. And so I just want next. Yeah, you know, it's very simple thing. You pick up. I'm giving you this only as a solution to how to reverse your addictive behavior and make it more spiritually oriented. The Jungian analyst and I, we have written a book which is going to be inaugurated. I'm going to ask to give it to be Paradox. And this is precisely explained there that how young people, they are lost, satanically lost. They are searching for love and God. And here they are taken into a terrible experience of destroying their thinking, destroying their bodies. Next. Yeah, next. And scientifically, today we know that whatever the drugs can do, this form of meditation can do. Next. And I want to come to a very special point where I want to tell you that when you practice these methods of real quietening your very, very busy body life, you have tremendous benefits in academic endeavor. You know, our medical school person, Herbert Benson, said that through meditation you can come get the NO effect. What is the NO effect? How many of you know what the NO effect? Nitrous oxide effect. What is nitrous oxide effect? Nitrous oxide effect is moving to what? Okay. Nitrous oxide effect is the same as bringing about the laughing gas in your brain. Okay. So when you come to that effect through meditation, through your hypothalamus to activate the master glands, which bring about positive neurotransmitters, just like drugs. But what neurotransmitters? Dopamine and serotonin. So why go to those drugs to get that? Meditate and learn through yoga how to get it. There are positive ways of getting this thing. So you get an organic supply of dopamine and serotonin, you know, drugs that are given for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's, and drugs that are given for depression. So many young people are going into depression. So this is just a little hope for you all that you don't need to fall victim, because some psychiatrists, I want to warn you about this. Are you able to hear me there? This humming is not. Maybe this is better? Okay. See, many psychiatrists, I must warn you against taking your people who have gone into drugs to doctors and especially psychiatrists. My dear young people, this medical profession has to learn a lot of ethical principles. There are psychiatrists who are giving shocks to drug addicts. There are psychiatrists who are giving heavy psychotropic substances to them and charging them a bomb. You know, I know some of you are shaking your head, nodding your heads because you know these psychiatrists. They are not healing drug addiction, they are causing drug addicts. So be warned about it, that there is no drug as a solution, there is no chemical that can help to solve chemical dependency. Drug abuse is chemical dependency. So please know, because it has to be a human response rather than making an addict a zombie. Next. And I tell parents this. All of you like this statement because Khalil Gibran said this. You know, when we get parents coming with their children, they want their children to just give up drugs. It doesn't happen overnight. Chris and Abhishek will tell you how much they have to struggle once they have gone into this. It's an uphill task. But I tell parents, your children are not your own. Their life's gift to you. Life goes forward, not backwards. So don't give them your mind, but rather listen to them. How many of us parents listen to our children's tale of woe? Very few. Go home and tell mommy and daddy. Oh, some are putting up their hands, that's good. Go home and tell mommy and daddy, I want to tell you what's happening in my life, what's happening in the life of some of my friends. Because Father Joe said that if we can have a good relationship with our parents, then we will never think of going to drugs. Next. This is Mother Teresa, my inspiration. She said this, it's not how much we do, but how much love we put in what we are doing. It is not how much we give, but how much love we put in giving. With this, I end my brief overall view of where are we in this field of drug abuse. How much do I need to know? How much do I need to get into helping? But before helping, know, identify. What are the signs that make people go into drugs? You know that they are already in drugs. First sign is absenteeism, or people who don't consistently do something. They have started a program, but they give up. Most 90% of my addicts are school dropouts. Chris and Abhishek will tell you that. Afterwards, they complete their studies, if they get well, otherwise they have lost their career. The other thing is mood alteration. So you can immediately tell a person who is not at all a loving person, very angry. These people are very angry and they always want their own way. And the third thing is they have no God in their lives because they make themselves God. So, they don't, and when you don't have God in your life, when you don't have a higher power, you don't respect humanity. These are people who, and unfortunately, let me tell you, there are certain families, because they have got suddenly rich, because they have got sudden wealth, they flout this wealth, and their children think that the wealth is God. And that has brought about all these social evils. Easy availability of money and easy availability of pleasures resulting from the misuse of money. Now, whatever I have said so far, would anybody want to clarify or want to ask me something which later on Chris and Abhishek will answer, but I would like you to ask me. Any brother, sister, cousin, friend, neighbor, padosi struggling and you are just walking by, not bothered. They are a group that needs things. Don't do that. We are responsible for them. Unless they are going about with knives. Yesterday I got a case where the neighbors said, oh, Father, we have to fight in because now they are carrying knives with them. Any question? Yes? Nobody? Okay. Chris? Yeah, okay.
Your mic.
You are the mic.
You spoke about all the rich children getting into vices. But what about the slum children who get into these addictions?
Slums.
Children in the slums, how do we afford drugs then? That is my question.
Okay, just on the 9th of May, there's a film, it will be available on BBC, called The Circle. Unlike Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire, the reviews said in London that this was a realistic movie. It was a documentary. What is this documentary about? About the children. In that documentary, Julia Rivera is also there. You're not aware of it. It's going to be out in the BBC. There was a girl who came from London for 3-4 years and they interviewed you. So this is a story of the drug addicts, street children in Naravi, which we kind of brought into treatment. And today, these boys and girls have become apostles of this work. And the person who really encouraged them is Julio Rivero. All functions of theirs he has been attending. So it's a tremendous thing. And mind you, youth from abroad have come and help these people. So I don't know how many of y'all would, instead of just saying, oh, they are in the slum, how did they? Come and see how they are longing for love, and they are longing to find real, joy in life. So to answer your question, drugs in the slums area are very cheap. And how do they get them? They sell all the rubbish, especially empty bottles and all. Children who come from all over the place, they collect all those empty bottles, they sell them, and then they buy this, what they call solution. They don't even know. It's a glue, and they smell that glue. That's most of their drug thing. And then after brown sugar, when they graduate, they go into brown sugar, which is heroin. So cheap drugs. Okay. And liquor, homemade kind of thing. Any other question? Yeah. Chris, what are you? Come.
Can we have any training for parents? Okay.
Beautiful question. Every Saturday at Kripa Bandra, we have all the parents, relatives of addicts coming there, and even those whose children are in denial, they are not wanting treatment, even they come there. Okay? Why? Because addiction, thank you for this question, addiction has two dimensions, the affliction and the affection. The one who is into addiction is afflicted, pidit as we say in Hindi and Marathi. But those who love them are affected, badhit. And so all these badhit and affected people need to follow first to get the correct knowledge of their child or their brother, sisters, father. Sometimes children come, adult children of alcoholics. They come and they learn how to really get people addicted out of their addiction. So there is and if you're far away from Bandra, in Holy Name Cathedral, there is an Al-Anon group, Alcoholics Anonymous group. That's also a family group. Chris?
So it all started with 4 tracks of a joint. Out of curiosity, I always knew this guy who used to smoke up. I used to feel like they're cool because they smoke up and stuff. So I just walk to this guy and I tell him that I want to try cannabis, I want to smoke some weed. So he was like, okay, and let's smoke. I smoked that day, I really felt good. It was like a good experience for the first time. And then I went back home, it was all good, no one came to know. And then I decided the next day I'm never going to do it again. After a few days, again I meet up this guy, and this time I asked him that if I can roll the joint, and it was all out of curiosity. So I just wanted to know like how you do it and from where you get the stuff, and I learned everything from him. And then I started doing it on a regular basis. So basically that time I was in my 10th standard, and then I went deep into addiction. I almost lost my ear. But firstly, when I started smoking up, when my mom came to know about it, she completely lost trust over me. The best thing she did, the best gift she has ever given me is she sought help. She went to Kripa, she asked her counselors, she spoke to them, and that's the best thing she did. That's how she knows how to deal with addicts and how to help them. So she stopped giving me money, and that time when I didn't have money, it was like a big task for me. So I started stealing from home. I did all kinds of things, like I started selling stuff from home and picking up whatever I find, like any expensive stuff, and I used to just sell it. But I never felt like I'm an addict. So I'll just ask you a simple question. How many of you all over here smoke up? Anyone? Even I was the same. I never accepted that I'm an addict. Never. So the first time when I went to Kripa, when they told me about addiction and they told me that you're an addict, I was not ready to accept it. I was like, no, I'm not an addict. I just smoke up for recreation. And I just smoke up when I'm with my friends. I don't do it every day. I'm not always. But I used to do it every day. And I used to do it like, as soon as I wake up, I need a joint. But I never accepted and I'm an addict. So when later I came to know about addiction, and they spoke to me, this guy is a counselor at Kripa. He spoke to me and he told me about addiction and he told me to stay with him there. I finally got admitted. And once I got admitted, I completed my program. You know, I found a ray of hope. So after I finished my program, before that I had left college. I stopped all my education. I had lost my family. I had lost everything. No friends. The only friends I had was the people who used to smoke up with me. Once I finished my program at Kripa, everything started coming back in my life. All the good things. I found new friends. I started my education again. Started going to college. And everything good started happening. So it was all good at times. But you know, the struggle wasn't over. So every day I have this thinking, I have this, I'm not scared, I can't say I'm scared, but I always feel like, what if I just go and smoke up again? And what if, everyone feels like that. But now, after going through this program and after coming into recovery, I will realize that I don't need a substance to depend on. I have my family, I have everyone who care for me, so I don't need any substance to, help me, and I don't need any help from any substance. And now, clean from a very long time, and I'm happy about it. Thank you.
It takes tremendous courage to stand before.
How long were you on?
Almost a year and a half, 2 years.
How old were you?
When I started, I was 14.
I'm asking you these questions because some of the students will not ask.
Yeah, I started using at a very young age. So it's kind of very shocking that no one of you people over here are not smoking up. But it's good, it's good. You're not good.
Yeah, it takes tremendous courage to share one's journey into brokenness and pain. It's gone through a lot of brokenness and pain. It's not easy to quit drugs because a drug addict lives in a world with a population of one himself. He's tremendously unloved. And so, what he says about getting new friends are getting people who are winners, not friends who will take you down, but friends who will help you to build up your life. It's a beautiful spiritual journey from brokenness to come to wholeness, which is holiness. Abhishek comes from Delhi. Many people think it's okay, alcohol is not a drug. Hear this story.
Hi guys, I'm Abhishek, I'm a recovering alcoholic. The reason why I say I'm a recovering alcoholic because I'm still recovering and it's a lifelong disease as I came to know when I joined Kripa way back like 2 years back over here. Recovering one day at a time, as Father tells us, living one moment at a time. That's what I'm doing, that's why I'm a recovering alcoholic. So basically my thing starts like I was 14, 15 maybe. Very good school, good in studies, only son of the family, pampered boy, and mama's boy, everything. I was getting what you call, anything which I would want, and I was thinking it was pretty cool. Started with a couple of beers, just to get that macho feeling, Delhi culture, going around with girls, boys, group, just to get comfortable and just to,